What's up, everybody? You're listening to episode 27 of Just Breathing with Laud Lungs. I had to look up what number we're on because I label both of these podcasts by number, which I don't know if this is the smartest idea, but it's the only way I know of keeping track of these things. So I had no idea what number this was, but 27's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We're like 3 away from 30. That's pretty awesome. Anytime we get to like a 10,
that's pretty cool.
I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. Joined tonight by my wife, Brittany, and we're going to talk about stuff. And thank you for joining us. This is Just Breathing with Laud Lungs. I always remind people that we do Just Breathing Home Edition, which is in our home on Mondays. That comes out. We talk about family. We talk about life. We talk about just mostly stuff that goes on within the home, family stuff, parenting, all that jazz. So if that's more your thing, you want to hear those types of conversations, you can check us out on Mondays. But this is Just Breathing with Laud Lungs. This comes out on Fridays most of the time. Most of the time. Yeah. I haven't been doing as many as I'd like to be doing, especially Just Breathing with Laud Lungs and getting new people in here to have different conversations. Because honestly, and I've talked with you about this, and I shared something on the socials this morning about this. But I've just been depressed. And anybody out there that has ever dealt with depression knows that depression is just, it's debilitating. I mean, it's not really something that can be explained in any tangible way, because like everybody's depression is different. Everybody's depression affects them in specific ways. Everybody's depression is triggered by things that are completely different than everyone else. You know, like, have you ever noticed that? Like, some people, just to me, seemingly the smallest thing could like send them into a downward spiral.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't have that. But like, I have my own stuff where, I said today, like, I if I'm not meeting whatever goal I have in my mind, maybe it's not even a goal I've told anyone else about. It's just something I have in my mind that I have to get done, or I have to do, or I have to accomplish, or I have to work towards. And if I don't see that coming to fruition, I just spiral downward.
Yeah.
Into that depressed state. And that's kind of where I've been. And honestly, a lot of it's lies. A lot of it I can't really justify when I actually sit down and like, the other night you were great in having me like write some things out about my future. And that's something that I don't do often because it's work.
Yeah.
But like, it got me out of my head.
Right.
And it's amazing what things you can tell yourself inside your own brain.
Yes, it's so true.
I mean, you can tell yourself the wackiest things.
Yeah. And you'll believe it, too.
And you'll believe it because you said it.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're like, that makes sense in my head without saying it out loud.
And that's why it's so true that sometimes the hardest person to trust is yourself.
Yeah.
Because you're messed up.
Yeah. It's so true.
You say some dumb things to yourself. You make up some weird ideas.
Yeah.
And that's like when I see people online like trying to put other people down for their ideas, I'm like, listen, we're human.
Yeah.
We make up some wild stuff in our minds. We think some wild things.
Yes.
We do some wild things. Like this whole like utopia perfection sham that we got going on right now with a lot of people. Get off my porch. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not here for what you're selling because you're just like me. We're the same species.
Yeah.
You're an idiot like me.
That's a good thing to remember, though, too, because I feel like it's easy to think, because you know yourself well. Like, I know for myself, I can very easily just bring up a long list of like my stupidity and all the stupid things I've done and said. And like, it's overwhelming if I think about it too long. And so I stop and I just am like, I'm just a silly person. That's what I say to myself all the time. I'm like, I'm just this silly person. But it's nice to remember that, like, I think a lot of people, if they actually sat back and like looked at their life, they would be like, yeah, I've been pretty silly too.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least I hope so. I hope I'm not as like, I hope that I'm not as silly as I really am, but
what do you
don't
mean?
know. I just sometimes I feel overwhelmed by my just how all the stupid things that I've done. Like once I do one stupid thing, then all of them come to my top of my mind. I'm like, oh yeah,
from like all
eternity.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, oh my goodness, again, I'm stupid again. Yeah.
You know, that's an interesting thing though, because like I have what would you call it? Not a trend. Like I don't trend towards it. What's the right word? Like I
a gravitation.
I naturally struggle more with ego, like, and the need to check my ego than I do thinking I'm dumb.
Right.
Which is its own negative trait in and of itself when it comes to dealing with your mind.
Yeah.
Because it's easier to trust myself because I think I'm usually right.
Okay.
You know, I think I'm usually going down the path that I should be. I think I'm usually pursuing the things. You know, that's what I said before. Like if I'm not accomplishing what I think I should be accomplishing, I start to go down that path towards depression. But like, who said I needed to accomplish these things? And that's kind of what I've been wrestling with this week. No one's told me I need to deal with these things or I need to accomplish these things. I told myself that.
Right.
And then when you actually step back and think like, do I need to accomplish these things? You realize that it's just internal voices that are telling you these things. There's no external forces. Like I'm not at a stage yet in my life where people are begging me for a new podcast.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm very thankful for everyone that listens to this podcast, but you guys aren't clamoring for the next one, and I'm okay with that. We're at 27. We're good. But, you know, and it's the same thing with anything else I work on, music or, you know, just anything else that I'm trying to pursue. Yeah, but like with you naturally struggle with believing in yourself.
Oh, yeah.
And trusting that you are good enough and trusting that you are right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Which is, you know, has its own struggles, but at the same time, at least you can get in your head and say, dumb.
Yeah.
Dumb. You've been dumb in the past. This is probably dumb right now. You know, whereas me, I'm just like, maybe it's right. Maybe I'm usually right.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's just a different strokes for different folks. I don't know. It's
So something interesting that I've been thinking about, and I won't go too far into it because I think we had a podcast in the past that was very similar to what I'm about to say, but
that's okay.
I find it interesting how you respond to those things and how I respond.
Yeah.
It's different, but it's actually the same thing. So these are the things that like I think about and have been smoldering in my mind. So like, you know, I get easily, I wouldn't say depressed, but like I'm easily put down and discouraged. That's the best word for it. Discouraged just by my own stupidity. But I think it's because it comes back to pride. So I'm going back to pride here. Because with pride, what I find is we get discouraged or we get depressed because we're putting value on what we do. And that gives us value. And when we put our value on what we do or what people do, then we can put ourselves in a hierarchy. Okay? So if I can only do, you know, 3 things, just make it simple, and you can do 5, now I'm less than you.
Oh.
But if I can get up and I can do 7, then I'm better than you and you're less than. And
Wow.
so that's how it works. So you're very easily able to be puffed up or deflated because your value is on what you do. So if I can do more than you, then I'm better than you. If I do less than you and I want to be like you, then I'm less than you and I feel poorly about myself.
Wow.
And so it all comes back to pride. So even my self-hating, I have to catch myself because that's pride, because I'm putting value on things and I'm aware of the less than that I do, or I feel like I don't meet the expectations that other people can do, whether it's talent or, success outside of the home, whatever it is, whatever you want to put in that spot. But that's still pride. Because then I'm not viewing myself, if you go back faith-based, I'm not viewing myself as a creature created by God for a purpose that's perfect.
Right.
And I should be living it out joyfully. And then I can also look at other people and say, they're also living out their purpose. They should do it joyfully. I should help them do it well.
Yeah.
And so it evils out the playing field in such a way where you don't feel poorly about yourself, but you also can actually help other people that you might have been jealous of.
Yeah.
Because you're able to say you're also created by God for a very special purpose, and I want to help you do a good job in it. You're able to, you just leveled the playing field. And I think that's a big reason for the way when we feel poorly about ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, that's a huge aspect in any life endeavor when you pursue something that other people are in that same field. I see this all the time with like music, YouTube, podcasts. So many endeavors could have this, but it's starts with comparison. When you're always comparing yourself to others, you're going to make a lot of those assumptions. You're going to make a lot of those mental pathways to pride. And then that usually leads to putting yourself into competition with other people instead of looking at those that are on the same journey as you.
Yeah.
And that's huge for businesses. Like successful businesses are able to applaud the gains and the achievements of others successfully. And usually those that just kind of like bitch and gripe and complain and say, I'm doing the same things as this person, why am I not at this place? It's probably because like no one wants to be around you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Or also you won't be able to. So this has to do with what you're saying.
Okay.
But so I'm teaching Brahm history, American history, right? And today we learned about Martha Graham, who kind of introduced a new type of dance to the world before it was like all ballet. Anyway, she said something that really stuck out at me, and it has to do with what you just said. She was like, you are the only person that can be creatively you. And she was like, she said it much better than what I'm saying, but she was like, only you can do this art that you want to do. And when you die, it's done with, and it never, ever can touch the earth again. Like it can never influence the earth again. So even if, and she had a very interesting perspective on it, but I kind of liked it. She's like, even if you're not as good as someone else, your unique role in it is going to be different than that other person's. And it's a gift to the world. And who are you to say that the world shouldn't have it? Because when you die, they won't ever get it. And I was like, oh yeah, like I really like that. Now, of course, we can still have people that are better than others, but everyone is unique and has a unique thing to share and to give. And I was like, that's really cool. And anyway, so actually now I can't remember how that connected to what you said, but
no, but I think that's the trap of comparison.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Always.
So like a business.
Yeah.
Whatever, that's what I meant to say. So whatever you live out in your business, you can do it in a specific creative way, whatever you feel like you want to do, and it will be unique.
Right.
If you're trying to just copy another business that you want to be like, I mean, that's fine. But if you don't try to be creative yourself at all, then you're not really actually going to be anything that special.
So it's so interesting. I saw this video a while back, and I think it was of Ed Sheeran. He was on like a talk show or a late night show or something like that. But he was, as a joke, going through like, I don't know, the top 40 songs,
Mhm.
but showing how he could play all of them with the same 4 chords.
Oh, wow.
So, but I ended up watching watching that video and kind of being discouraged because I'm just like, I'm going to write songs and I'm probably going to use those same chords because they sound great, you know, and like, and so many times you write something, you hear a song, you're like, same melody, same chord structure, same lyrics,
right?
You know, not exactly, but close enough. And it's discouraging.
Yes.
But no one's going to sing it like you.
Right.
No one's going to play that piano riff like you. No one's going to play the guitar like you. No one's going to mic up their drums like you. And that's the uniqueness that we were created in. We're all created in this beautiful, unique way and only we can express that uniqueness.
And it's such a freedom just to think about that.
When we're free to express it. And pride is such a trap. Comparison is such a trap because you're not free and unique when you're in
That's true.
that state.
Yeah.
You know, when you're constantly comparing yourself to others and thinking about where others are at and how you can be more like others and, you know, gain the same success and pathways that they went on. And, you know, you're constantly thinking about that. And I've fallen into this 1,000 times. And that's why I'm saying it. It's a trap.
Yeah.
It's a trap. Your product, your art is going to suffer.
Yeah. It's like, it's no longer free. It's constricting. Because you're like, I have to do what this person did and this person and this person and this wasn't like them and it's not good and blah, 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 blah. And then it's not even fun anymore.
Right. And the trap is when you start getting frustrated in the comparison. I don't know what stage that would be, you know, like how to name that. Because comparison's not bad to get you started. I have a bunch of people that I follow that I have no aspirations to be like them.
Right.
Somewhat because they're at a level that I don't even know if I want to obtain. And like they're in different career paths that like I have no desire to go down. But their success and the things they do on a daily basis and the things that they've done and the style that they have or there's just different factors that draw me to that person that I want to study them and just take tidbits.
You want to be inspired by them. You don't want to be like them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's when you want to be like them that you get frustrated because I've experienced that.
Good. Okay. That's perfect. That's perfect. So when comparison leads to you desiring to be that individual, you've lost.
Yeah.
Because now you're not yourself.
Right.
And the world needs you.
Right.
The world doesn't need another, like.
Because that person's purpose is to inspire you, not for you to be like them.
Right.
That's what they want, or at least hopefully that is what they want.
Right. There's like, I can't remember the numbers offhand, but there's something like, I think like 2 million podcasts.
Oh, wow.
Right now. It's a lot of podcasts. I think the numbers might even be higher than that.
I was going to say it could be. Yeah.
It could be higher than that. But 2 million. Let's just take that for a sec. Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. But it's people like Joe Rogan that has inspired all of these people to start their own podcast.
Right.
Because a lot of times he would be in a podcast with somebody and be like, you should start a podcast.
Yeah.
You know, now he started what, I don't know, 12 years ago or something like that.
Well, I thought it was longer than that.
No, I think it was about 12 years ago. And he was just kind of right on the cutting edge of when it started to flourish.
Okay.
So those are the people that usually succeed in these types of things. I mean, you look at YouTube, the biggest YouTubers are people that really got into the game early.
Right.
I think like YouTube's like 2007.
Okay.
Something like that is when it started, and it was just funny videos. You know, it was Pop-Tart Cat video and like Charlie bit my finger
Yeah.
videos and things like that. But some people are like, I think this could be more.
Mhm.
Like, I think, especially when monetization came to play, people were like, I could make this a career.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome. But I don't want to be any of those people.
Right.
I want to do this long enough to find my voice.
Yes.
To find what makes this podcast unique to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to always come back and rethink it and change it to mold it more to my uniqueness.
Yeah.
And that's something like I said, we're only 27 in.
Yeah.
I'm still feeling this out.
Uh-huh.
Well, when we get to like 100, probably going to be making some changes.
Yeah.
To adapt it more to me.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I'm just doing the podcast thing of what I've seen other people do.
Yeah.
And that's fine because I need to figure this thing out.
Right.
I need to know how to be a better host. I need to know how to be a better technician because I'm doing all of that. I need to be a better video editor.
You're doing it all.
Yeah. And I'm fine with that in the early stages. Everybody did that.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want to, you have to do something over and over again until you ever actually establish or find your uniqueness. And just don't get discouraged before that time.
Right. I think it's interesting how, going through this curriculum with Brahm, who I'm homeschooling my oldest son. And there's like, in the American history, I love some of the things that they pick to like talk about. And because I think it's really inspiring for a young person, but it's inspiring for me too. But they talk about all these people who are like well-known because they were just passionate about something and they pursued it.
Something.
Whatever it was that they thought was important. And some of them, it's kind of sad because they weren't famous really till like afterward. Right. Like if they were living now, you wouldn't think they were famous until they died, and people are like, oh yeah, that person was actually really important or influential.
Because they gave something to society.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying, and then some people did become famous while they were alive. Right. But what I'm saying is, I think we get caught up in, we want the glamour. We want to be glamour. We just want the glamour. And like, we forget that that's not actually that important. And you actually look at people's lives who are in that kind of life, and usually they're not that happy anyway. But yeah, I just thought that was very inspiring, like for a young person and for anyone, just do what you love, do it well, do it with excellence. And that will be good. That will be beneficial to the world.
Yeah. And it's so countercultural to like everything we're told throughout high school and college. Like I was homeschooled up until high school. And then from high school on, you're just told this narrative of go to college, get a degree,
so you can
get
make
a good
money.
job, so you can make money and pay off your college and flourish in this world. And it's not until you actually get out into the real world,
usually with debt,
that you understand that it was mostly a sham.
Or you find out that what you actually enjoy doing, and then you're like, wait, I
wasted
all this time and money.
All of this. Yeah. No, and don't get me wrong. I loved college. I loved high school too, but mostly just for having fun. I can't say anything about the education I received during high school, but college, I loved college. I loved my professors. I loved the material that I learned, the degree that I got that I'm not using. So I mean, you
are kind of using it a little bit.
A little bit.
Not to gain money, but.
Yeah, right. I paid a lot of money to gain knowledge. I mean, I'm trying to make something out of all of that money I spent. But yeah, I just think it's I want to instill in my kids that first they need to pursue what they love. Yeah. They need to pursue what really, because if you pursue the things that stretch yourself, that you were like, this is it, this is the thing that I really think I need to pursue. I listen to so many people that have pursued things that would be so nonsensical to like my family. Like if I tried to do that, like we were listening the other night to someone who rowed across the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah.
There's literally no reason to row across the Atlantic Ocean.
I mean, she felt there was.
You could fly. Yeah, she got some great exercise, but like, there's no reason to row a boat across the Atlantic Ocean.
Right. She got people to help give money to the water thing that she cared about.
To help
clean water for people who don't have it.
Exactly. So, I mean, she did it for a good cause, and she's just inspirational now.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing. Like, she didn't have any naysayers in her life or she just didn't care.
She didn't say anything about it.
Right.
Yeah.
She didn't care about the naysayers in her life that probably were there, and just put her head down and did this thing because she wanted to.
Right.
And
who knows how that'll influence her children if she has any children when she gets older, and
who knows how it'll influence any women that or young girls that watch interviews with her doing this amazing physical feat. Like, she was on the ocean for like 77 days, I think. I think it was under 70 days, now that I think about it. I think like 77. 77 was it, because it was like 70 to like 100 and something was like the time period that she wanted to remain in.
Okay.
To get across the ocean. But think about that. 70 days on the Atlantic Ocean? Like, that's crazy. But you got to find your thing and go for it. And go for it. And I mean, even just in the things that I'm doing, and what I think triggers some of the depression that we talked about at the beginning is I'm still trying to find that thing. I have so many things that I love. I have so many things that I'm good at, and I'm very thankful for all of that. It makes it hard though to like pick something.
Yeah.
And to really, really, like she did, put your head down and just go for it.
Right.
And to really pursue that with all you got, because only in that pursuit will you actually give something to society. And that should be the ultimate goal. We have this weird, going back to like the narrative of our education system, that like you need to follow this path. That's a lie, because there are so many other paths that could lead to financial success, that could lead to, fulfillment in your life outside of that education system. And I would highly recommend people pursue it in that way. But also just in like, where was I going with this? There was something else that I was going to say that just the fact that you're supposed to gain something from society. That is such a
instead of the
upside
other way
down.
around.
Exactly. It's such an upside down idea that, I mean, business in its simplest essence is service to others. Any business is a service to others. This podcast, we're not making any money from it, but like, it's a service to others.
Yeah.
Like, I hope people enjoy it.
Yeah.
So that is something that really has to be grilled into the next generation, because right now we have a generation of give-me's. I just want more. I want another stimulus check. Well, screw you. Your children are going to have to pay for that debt that you're, increasing through these stimulus checks that you don't need because you're still at your job right now. Like, it's just, we don't think about others enough. We want, when you're actually going to feel fulfilled and leave a legacy through your service to others. I mean, you think about all of the Americans that we sort of hold on a pedestal. It's all people that gave something to others. Like, there's very few people that were just famous that we actually remember today.
Right.
Like, I know of a ton of people that were famous but didn't really leave much. And you can see this with a lot of celebrities. Like, there are so many actors that you don't remember their name because they didn't leave us anything.
Right.
There was nothing that they really gave to humanity. There are some performances like
that you'll remember.
Like I think of like Heath Ledger when he played the Joker in The Dark Knight. He left a stamp on that movie that'll forever not be topped, in terms of a performance for the Joker role. But there are so few of those.
Right.
But then you look at like American history and you got like Carver. He, an African American that had a passion for peanuts.
Yeah.
And just making as much and as many concoctions as you could muster from peanuts.
Right. And it was cool because his passion was really actually for those farmers who were struggling to make crops, right? So he had studied, right, to find out that peanuts will help put nutrition back in the soil so they can continue to grow. I think it was
that's interesting.
Cotton.
I didn't know it stemmed from that.
That's why.
Okay.
So it wasn't because he was obsessed with peanuts. He was trying to convince the farmers, hey, I can help you grow your crops better and grow different crops on the off seasons to put the nutrients back in the soil so you can continue to grow your cotton. And they were like, no, we don't know what to do with peanuts. And he was like, I'll show you what you can do with peanuts. So he found 300 ways to use peanuts and sell them. And he did all this for no money.
Wow.
He didn't patent any of the things that he discovered and studied. I love that guy. I think he's so inspirational and so cool.
Yeah. I'm so glad when our kids get to learn about people like that. Because I remember reading about him when I was homeschooled, and you don't hear about him in public school. Like I did American history in college, and I did an American history course in high school, and he's not talked about, which is interesting.
He was a great person.
Yeah, well, they don't like certain black people in our education system. You don't hear anything about Booker T. Washington. That
was actually the school I think he went to, and
the Tuskegee Institute was the school that Booker T. Washington established right after slavery, when the black community was trying to integrate into normal society. They knew that the best way to integrate into normal society was to learn trades so that they could be of service to the country that had now freed them.
That's what Carver was trying to help the African American farmers do. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it was a concerted effort on the part of African Americans at that time to work together to make their communities flourish.
Yeah.
And that's why from the date that, slavery ended to, the beginning of the 1950s, the black community flourished.
Yeah.
I mean, they were one of the fastest growing in terms of like per capita income up until that point. And then welfare was introduced, and we could do a whole podcast on that.
We'll get some fire.
Yeah. Yeah, you would probably have to put an explicit warning on this podcast. Yeah. But I love stories like that. And I love men like that gave something so profound to society, like peanut butter.
Yes. I love Mr. Carver. Peanut coffee. If only you would have known about peanut coffee.
Yeah. Yeah, that was what he missed.
He missed peanut coffee.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know. I don't know what all 300 were. But
okay, we need to say this just because there might be like one person that actually cares about peanut coffee from like our last conversation.
There's so many people listening to this that want to know about
they just
want
to. Yeah. I'm sorry. We forgot the peanut coffee. We were going to brew it on site. Frankly, it's just not worth it.
Okay, so for everyone listening that really loves peanuts and wanted to know about this peanut coffee, it is not as good as regular coffee. And I hate it that I have to admit that. But it is still good.
It's not bad.
But it's not
bad.
It's not like a replacement for coffee. Now, if you need a replacement for coffee, it definitely could be.
Uh-huh.
But if you really like coffee, it's not a replacement for coffee.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy it. I still drink it. It's like a good, no caffeine, like warm drink that reminds you of coffee and makes you feel good. I just like strong coffee, and it can't get as strong as coffee.
Right.
So
it's such an interesting taste because just to describe it for people, when you smell it, it smells like it is like peanuts. Yeah. I mean, it smells like coming when you're taking the hot cup of peanut coffee and you're lifting it up to your mouth. It hits your nostrils and you say, that is a bag of peanuts.
Like roasted peanuts, like a darker, like.
Yeah. And then you drink it, but it tastes and goes down like coffee.
Similar as coffee, yes.
Like I drink it black.
Yeah, it actually is very good black. And I usually don't drink black regular coffee.
So it is not terrible whatsoever. It
Right.
is okay taste-wise. Weird. Definitely weird. But like after a workout the other day, you know, like I had a big meal. Sometimes like coffee, the acidity of it is not, it just doesn't sit well. Sometimes I get heartburn.
Yeah.
So like I just didn't want any more acidic thing in my stomach.
Right.
But I had the peanut coffee and I had no effects.
Yeah.
And it has a little protein in it.
Yep.
So after a workout, I mean,
Get a little bit of protein.
get a little bit of protein, get some energy to recuperate. So there you go. That's a little take on peanut coffee. But yeah, George Carver was an awesome dude. And that is the path. If we want to leave a legacy, if we want to be famous in a way that's lasting, you have to do something for others. There's not going to be like, you don't know a single name of a hedge fund owner, you know, that works the stock market and has tons of money and is out on his yacht. You don't give a crap about him. And honestly, I don't know how much he gives a crap about himself.
Yeah.
He made a living. He's got a good life. That's what he wanted. Great. He didn't do anything for society.
Right.
You know, so I mean, God rest his soul when he dies, but like, oh well. You know, but people that pursue the thing that makes them unique.
Right.
And that just digs it out. And that's what I'm trying to do right now in my life. Dig it out. Find that thing that makes you unique and pursue that thing. Then you will be successful. Even if you're not monetarily successful, you will feel successful.
Right.
You will feel fulfilled.
Well, I don't know if you will feel fulfilled. I don't know if you'll feel successful.
I think you will, because I think that uniqueness is contagious, and I think it is something that is inspirational.
Yeah.
I think there will be people who are grateful for that contribution.
Oh, there will be plenty of people, but what I'm saying is
that's
you
success.
might not, I know it is, but you yourself might not know that all the time.
Right. Without that monetary
because sometimes
reassurance,
you talked about that one evangelist that had, you know, he was telling people about Jesus for a long time, and then he died, and he never knew that like he affected anyone. But he actually, a lot of people their lives were changed for the better and came to his funeral. Like how many people did you say?
Thousands
of people. So this poor guy, you know, was trying to help people his whole life and didn't really know that he was actually helping people.
But if you can, and I'm not successful at this right now, but I know it's the truth. If you can constantly convince yourself and reconvince yourself that serving others is the purpose for your life.
So it goes back to humility.
Right. If you could understand, and like we've had that debate before, like I'm not saying to be not confident in yourself in any way in order to serve others. In fact, I want you to be super confident in your uniqueness and the thing that you're supposed to do with your life in serving others.
But the serving of others then is good enough.
Yeah.
And it's not.
And that's the thing. Yeah. That's the thing. And if you can just know that and keep pursuing that and keep grinding towards that.
Yeah.
Finding out, okay, like, for example, for this podcast, like, I don't know my niche yet. Like, I got ideas. I got things that I want out of it. I got conversations that I'm like, ooh, that felt good. That felt good. I felt like it was just flowing there. Like, I think that's the type of direction I want to take this podcast. And these are hints. These are things that I'm kind of placing in my mind, and eventually the puzzle pieces is going to come together,
Yes,
and I'll
it
be
will.
like, I found it.
Amen.
Found it. You know, it's hard though.
It is.
It's a long process and it's hard. And that's why I'm depressed. But yeah, like I said to people, you know, in my post this morning, I was just like, I have no intention of staying depressed though.
Right.
0.
Mm-hmm.
Not a chance in hell that I'm going to stay depressed.
Yeah.
I'm going to work out. I'm going to work on my diet. I'm going to do whatever step is in front of me that I feel like will propel me forward instead of keeping me in just a stagnant state.
Oh yeah. Something I was thinking about this past week is kind of like that. Like I said before, I don't usually feel depressed. I would say discouraged, but I do feel discouraged a lot. And there's certain warning signs that hopefully you've seen in your own life.
Yeah.
You know I know the red flags now of when I'm going down this discouraged road that could keep getting darker if I let it. But those are the times when, you have to say, okay, I see it coming. And you have to like say, no more. And then you actively have to say, okay, whatever needs to be done to get out of this, to turn around, because that will never, staying in that place will never help you and it'll just get worse.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know that well.
Yeah.
I know that well. And that's the thing. Like, I've been down this path so many times that I know the warning signs already.
Yep.
I think my own, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's pride or what it is that makes me want to just stay in that for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Cause like, I know I've been depressed for a little while, but like, I didn't tell anybody about it, and I didn't, do too much to try and get out of it. I just kind of excused it for a while.
Yeah.
And just be like, things aren't really happening. I had a gluten reaction, so my autoimmune is flaring up. And autoimmune, with inflammation comes depression. That's just a natural side effect of an autoimmune disease. And like, so I can excuse it away through these different factors and just sit in it.
Yeah.
But like, I know, because I've done it before, that sitting in it is just going to take you backwards.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't sit in depression. It's sinking sand.
Yes.
You will just keep going down.
Yes.
And
I think that's natural. I don't know what that is either, but that's just natural.
I think that's with everything in life.
Yeah.
I think that's with your health. If you don't work out on a daily basis, do something, 3 times a week, whatever. If you don't,
no, I'm not taking offense. I think it's funny.
No, I mean, like, I don't work out every single day. I try to do something.
You do really, really good.
Yeah. Yeah, I try. but because I don't want to go backwards.
Yeah.
I've already gone, forward a little way, and every time I have a gluten reaction or something like that and have to take off for a few days, I can literally see the backward trend starting.
Yeah, that's discouraging.
With my physique.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, no!
Yeah.
You got to start all over again.
Right.
And it's the same way sometimes with my mental health. Like, I'll get in a depressive state, and I was just sort of getting to a place where I felt strong mentally, where I felt like I was just just pounding life, you know what I mean? Like, just making it my own.
Yeah.
I'm the owner of my life. And I'll wake up early if I want to wake up early. I'll do this if I want to do this. Yeah. And then you get in a depressive state and you're like, you win.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Checking out. And then you're back to ground zero, where you just have to start up again and just be like, well, I'm going to take control of this area of my life. Yeah. I'm going to take control of this area of my life. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. But I worked out today.
That's good. Yeah.
I basically thought of working out since this morning.
I worked out with you yesterday morning, right?
Yeah, yesterday morning. And I was supposed to work out in the afternoon too. And like, I just felt like crap. Didn't happen. I mean, I got a workout in.
Right.
But usually I do like a morning workout that's more body weight, and then I do a lifting workout that's more weight based.
Yeah.
Because I'm a skinny dude. And
You're not skinny anymore.
I'm not skinny anymore because I lift weights now. And the only way I ever put on mass is through weight.
That's so funny.
Which, I mean, makes sense. It makes sense. Eating more and lifting. Yeah, if I don't do that, I just stay bone thin. Which is a problem, people.
You're
I know
make
some
people hate you.
I know.
People are hating you right now.
Skinny people problems.
People are like, stop talking.
Don't skinny shame me. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm in a more healthy state right now, where I feel a little better about my physique. I'm at a healthier weight for my height and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's funny.
So what else do we need to talk about? Anything?
No.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, thanks everybody for listening. I hope you're all doing well out there. I hope if you are in a depressed state, leave us a comment if you're on YouTube. If you're a friend of mine, text me, call me. I'd love to talk to you. But don't call me if you think I'm going to let you stay in a depressive state and you just want to vent, or if you just want to whatever. Yeah, I'm not that kind of friend.
He'll let you vent for like a minute. And then he's going to tell you that you need to work towards getting out of it.
Yeah, I remember my one friend was in a suicidal state at one point, and this was back, I think, in high school. And I remember slapping him in the face. But that's
real?
just...
You slapped him in the face?
Yeah, because I just was like, snap out of it. Because he was in this thought cycle that he couldn't get out of, and he needed something jarring to get him out of it.
And I guess it
shock is a real thing. It doesn't need a traumatic event. Your mind can get you into shock.
Yeah.
Where you can't get out of it unless someone helps you. And I was in high school. I didn't know any other psychological ways of talking him out of it. I mean, that was quick and easy. And it worked.
Hallelujah.
And we're best friends. So, yeah, but I won't slap you in the face. I promise. I've grown. But I want...
Now they're definitely only going to call you on the phone.
Yeah. Don't talk to me in person. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. But I just want people to take steps in the direction of health. That's the only way you're ever going to get out of depression. It's not an easy answer, or just a cop-out answer. It's a fact. The only way you're ever going to get out of depression is not through medication. Medication can help balance chemical imbalances within yourself, but it can't actually get you out of depression. The only way to get out of depression is through natural ways of, looking at your friendships and reevaluating that. Exercise, getting outside, diet is extremely important and not talked about enough, even by your doctor. And
Jesus.
Yeah, Jesus helps. I mean, read a book, read the Bible. These are all things that I've recommended and will continue to recommend because they're the best resources out there. And yeah, I hope you're all doing well. This is not an easy time in our country. It's not an easy time with all the COVID restrictions and lockdowns and turmoil on that front. And I know a lot of people are lonely and depressed. And hey, I'm there. Mm-hmm. I'm there. And but I hope you can see by listening and watching this podcast that I'm trying to get out. And you can get out too. Mm-hmm. You can get out too. There is hope. I call him Jesus. But there is hope that he has made a way through all of these other things that I've talked about. He's made ways that you can start getting out of your head and back into life. So, all right, guys, before you go, make sure that you subscribe if you're on YouTube, like this, hit the notification bell, share this if you want to. And if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, make sure you subscribe, leave us a rating and review, and follow us on Spotify if that's the place you're listening. And we will see you on the next episode of either Just Breathing Home Edition or Just Breathing with Laud Lungs. We love y'all. Bye.